Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike, and welcome to my tutorial with Unreal Engine on how to merge Character Customizer with the Advanced Locomotion version 4. So, to get started, we're going to go ahead over to the library here, and we're going to create a brand new project with the Advanced Locomotion system. If you do not have this project yet, you can get it for absolutely free in the marketplace. So let's go ahead and create a project right here. We're going to rename this to ALS. We're going to browse and we're going to actually put this into a file that we have here, merge tutorials. Let's go ahead and hit create. And now we're going to create a character customizer one here. Doesn't really matter about the name actually. We're just going to delete that file here in a little bit. Hit select folder and hit create. Now, once this file gets created, we're going to actually open it up and we're going to migrate our files over to this ALS one. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, now that this is all opened up, let's right click on this folder down here. We're going to hit the word migrate here, hit OK, and we're going to go over to the ALS folder we have underneath the content here. We're going to hit select folder. Now, as it copies the files, you're going to see some files do not get copied over. If you go down here, you can go copy errors. It's going to actually say which files were not copied over. It's just these 3 files. They're not important. Don't worry about them. They're no longer actually in the asset anymore. So let's go ahead and close this. And we're going to close the entire project. And we're going to actually delete it. All right. Now that we're back here, go ahead right back to the library here. We're going to right click on Character Customizer here and hit delete. Now we're going to open up the ALS. Now that we're back into the ALS project, you're going to see that we have 2 projects folders right here. We're actually going to create one more here, and we're going to call this game. Now this would be whatever you want to call your game folder. So we are actually going to manage a plugin, and we're going to actually add one here. And it is called Electronic Nodes. I highly recommend getting this if you do not have it. I'll have a link in the description below if you guys are interested in getting it, as well as the 2 assets that we are actually using during this tutorial. So let's go ahead and restart this now. Now that the engine's actually restarted, we got a few things that we have to do underneath project settings. If you don't have this opened on the top here, you can actually find this under the Edit, Project Settings. Head on over to Maps and Modes here, where it says Default Game Mode. We're actually going to change this to the CC_game_mode. Give it a little second as it loads. Once you click on it, now we're going to go underneath the input keys, and we're actually going to add a few keys in here. Okay, we only need 3, as those are the main ones that we actually need. So the first one that we're going to actually create is going to be called OpenCC. Now what this one's going to do is it's going to give you the key to actually customize your character in the game. We're going to put that as G, but you can put it as whatever key you would like. Let's go ahead and put the other one called scroll up and scroll down. Now what these 2 functions are going to actually do is allow you to cycle through the clothing that you're going to have a chance to do. So just go ahead and put mouse wheel in here. It's going to be called mouse wheel up, and then this one is going to be called mouse wheel down. Now we're all done with the project settings, so let's go ahead and close this and close the plugins as well. We're actually going to open up a couple more content browser windows here. And now we're going to open up the Advanced Locomotion version 4. We're going to head over to the character assets here, mannequin skeleton, and we're going to actually grab one of these skeletons here. So let's go ahead and hit duplicate here. And we're going to move this over into the game folder. Let's create a new one, and we're going to call it characters. Let's drag it over here. Open that up, and we're just going to rename this to character skeleton. Alright, now that we have that one, we're also going to go back to the blueprints folder under the ALS, and we're going to open up character logic, and we're going to make duplicates of both the ALS base character and the Animan character. So let's do this one first. Duplicate, and we're going to call this main character. And this is going to be where all your keybinds are going to be. And then the Animan blueprint here, we're going to rename this to female character. This is what you're going to be dragging onto the actual game world. It's going to be acting as your NPCs and everything. So let's go ahead and drag the female character over here. Just going to move. We're going to go back one folder here. We're going to create a new folder here called Blueprints. We're going to open that folder up, create another folder called Character Logic. In the Character Logic one, we're actually going to put the main character in. Let's go ahead and move that here. Alright, now we're going to open up the main character. Let's drag this up to the top here. Now, we're going to be merging this one with the character customizer one. So, to get to that one, we're going to go out of the character folder in the CC underscore character BP. Let's go ahead and open that one up. Now, you're going to see underneath the mesh here, you got a few functions here that we need. So let's hit Control C on that, and we're going to paste these over on the mesh. And we're actually going to drag all of these up to where it says mesh. And over on the location, rotation, and scale, we're actually going to modify these here. We're going to put 0 on all of them. Alright, now that we have all those done, if you head back to the viewport, you can see this little beautiful little stick figure, or whatever you want to call it. Now what we want to do is where it says character BP, you want to grab the character customizer. We're going to go ahead and copy that. We're going to paste this under here. And we're going to hit compile and save. Now we have to grab all of these variables right here. So to do the fastest way to do this is just hit Control C on each one and come on over here and click on variables and hit Control V and just paste them on over. So go ahead and take a few minutes here and just do that. All right, now that we have that all done, we have to grab the functions. So the first function you want to grab is the construction script. Go ahead and double click on that. Hit Control A to copy them and then Control C. And we're going to go bring this on over to the ALS character here under the construction script. Go ahead and double click that. We're just going to move this over here and we're going to hit paste. And we're going to connect this. Let's connect the construction script to the sequence here. We're going to hit compile. And now it's going to ask us about the spring arm. Go ahead and click on that and just delete it. We're not going to be using the spring arm. And then combine these. Compile, save. Next thing we want to grab is the last two functions. Hit Control C on these functions. Right click and hit paste. Do the same thing with the other one. Now, the only thing that we need left over is the event graph. So, the only thing we really need to grab would be three things. These two right here, go ahead and copy those. Bring those into the event graph here. And then the last one would be the mouse wheel scroll. Copy and paste. And then hit compile, save. So now we are officially completely done with the CC underscore character BP. So go ahead and close this up. Do a quick file save all. Now if you go back to the ALS demo level here. Alright, so the next step that we want to do is we want to copy over the character meshes. So let's go back underneath the character folder that we just created. We're going to create two new folders here, one of which is going to be called female, and the other is going to be called, you guessed it, male. So under the character customizer, you're going to see these two folders already created, female and male. Let's go ahead and grab over the physics and the mesh. And we're just going to move these on over to the correct folder here. And we're going to do the same thing to the male. Let's do a quick file save all. We're going to open up the female one here. We're going to right click on the mesh. And we're going to retarget this to our brand new skeleton that we made earlier. Hit accept. And it's going to ask you about 3 bones. Go ahead and confirm those. Do the same thing to the male character here. And do a quick file save all. And we're not going to set up the physics in this video. We will be continuing on with another video that sets up all the physics. That is a little time consuming. But let's go ahead on back over to the character skeleton here and double click it by opening it up. We have to assign a mesh. So as you can see, we have 2 meshes that we could choose from. Go ahead and select the female mesh. Hit apply to asset. Save. And as you can see, we have the two meshes right here. We have the mesh that if we select the male, it'll change the physics 1 to the male, female, so forth. Now, let's go ahead and close out of these. We are completely done with those for the time being, including the character skeleton. We do not need that one anymore. Go back to the ALS demo level. So we're going to take a little break here. So what we've learned so far is how to get all of our ALS in the character customizer into one character. So what we're going to learn in the next video will be the animation. Animation is going to take a little bit of time, so it's going to be a complete video with just animations, and then we're going to do another video on physics, and then we'll do most likely a final video with just fine-tuning everything. So I will see you guys in the next video.